Welcome to Cinebabble episode 35. I am your host, Ken, and as always, my co-host, Clint Jones. Clint Jones, tell the world hello.
Hi, world. Hi, Ken. I'm here.
The world is listening, Clint.
I hope not all of it.
Well, not the entire one, but we have somehow landed into the search string in Instagram, and we just have a bunch of people that just keep following us. The last couple of days, we've added 500.
I think you're just really good at Instagramming. I don't think we're good at podcasting, but you're really good at Instagramming.
I am good at, I think, Instagramming for movies, but not that good. I think I have just accidentally stumbled into whatever Instagram's algorithm is, and it likes what I'm putting on there.
I think you're becoming an influencer.
Am I?
Yeah.
Is that how that works? I'm gonna make six figures. Cinebabble 6 figures.
You're gonna be wearing like the hottest trends.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, and I'm gonna do that. Nope, I don't even know what that thing is. It's this weird little song that all the kids are dancing to.
Is like motioning, running in place. I don't know.
No, is that thing where they hit their fists and they answer questions and point at words on the screen that pop up way too fast for you to read?
Karaoke?
No, you've not seen this?
Completely out of touch.
We are out of touch, but on the little Instagram feeds and TikTok and all that.
Oh, I don't have Instagram or anything.
I don't tick the talk, but those TikToks are on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
And there's this one where the kids hit their fists over top of each other while this song plays. And it always comes up and it's like, I'm a dentist, questions that people ask me. And then it pops up and it says the question, and then it pops up and says the answer.
Yeah.
Which some people figure out that this is a quick song, so let's put up a few words and a yes or no answer. Other people put up these detailed answers, and I don't want to know about their life. I don't care. But for some reason, when I see something flash that quick and I didn't get to read it, I rewatch it because you can't rewind it. So I just sit there and just word by word piece together what the answer is. It's never interesting. It's not the question I would ask. It's like, all right, whatever.
As Ken descends into madness.
I did.
One day. Spending hours trying to decipher these videos.
Seriously. One day I just clicked on the little magnifying glass. I'm like, oh, what's this all about? And just descended into this black hole of catchy songs in 10-second increments. And everybody just liberally stealing from each other.
Yeah.
Instagram is just plagiarism. That's all it is.
Oh,
TikTok,
well,
plagiarism.
It becomes trends. So.
Well, they call it trends, but we used to call that plagiarism. It's when you couldn't come up with your own content, so you stole somebody else's content. It just, I don't know. I don't understand it. This is my old man hill. Yet another old man hill that I'm going to die on.
Okay.
That's fine. The kids get it, so whatever.
Have fun. Whatever.
Clint, what you been watching about this week?
Ken, I've been watching some stuff on the TV, the television.
Thrilling.
Yes.
Tell me more about stuff.
Oh, stuff. I recently checked out a new series by Taika Waititi and Sterling Harjo. It's a series called Reservation Dogs. It's on FX.
I've heard about this.
It's really good. It's about a group of Native American kids living in Oklahoma who are small-time crooks stealing and trying to save up money to move to California.
And it's very blatantly taking its kind of cues from Reservoir Dogs, correct? Or is that just marketing?
Well, they're a gang, and they become called the Reservation Dogs. I wouldn't say it's any really tying into the movie or anything.
So
it's
more just a pithy reference.
It's not trying to be. It's a comedy, and it's got definitely that Taika feel to it, where one of the main characters is having visions of this like Indian warrior, but he's not like a famous Indian warrior. He's just like this guy who was going into battle and his horse tripped in a gopher hole and squashed him. And so he keeps having visions of this guy and very like pithy comments, and it's very fun.
That answers my question about tone. Because I was curious. I couldn't get a beat on it from the trailer that I had watched, or the little promo I had watched. So
yeah, and it's really sweet. Like they're like the main character, I can't remember his name, but he's kind of like really apprehensive about being a crook. He wants to do the best for his community, and so there's another warring gang with them, and so they're kind of like, let's be like not really playing into their game. Let's like kind of stand up for our community against them, even though they're also kind of being crooks and trying to make this path for themselves out of the small town they live in. It's really good. I really enjoy it.
Where can I find it?
It's on Hulu.
On Hulu?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. I think you would enjoy it.
I'll load that in the queue, the promise queue after Ted Lasso. Which,
you got it, man. Oh, this past episode of Ted Lasso was so fantastic.
I'm sorry. I was just talking to fans of Ted Lasso this week.
Oh, really?
And
on Instagram?
Yeah. No.
Your followers on Instagram?
Shut up, Clint. Not on Instagram. Just, in the world, my life, just people would bring up Ted Lasso. You watch? Oh, yeah, it's great. It's just
IRL?
This. What?
IRL?
What?
In real life, you were talking to these people? See, I'm part of it all.
Here's how in my 40s I am. All my brain could think is that you were trying to say IRS and then having a seizure. IRL. In real life. Mm-hmm. Yes, IRL.
Wow.
Guess I'm going to have to learn this language.
Yeah.
All right. What else you been watching?
Yesterday, I also watched a new movie that's just popped up on Amazon. It's Amazon original called Annette.
Oh, with Kylo Ren.
Yeah. Kylo Ren.
Sorry. It's
Adam
been a
Driver.
long weekend. Okay, Adam
Driver
thank you.
and Marion Cotillard and Simon Helberg from Big Bang Theory. But it's by Leo Carax, who did Holy Motors.
Loved the trailer for this, so I was curious about it.
I think you would absolutely hate this movie.
Really?
Yeah. Like there's so many things in it that I was watching it and I was like, Kenny would hate this so much. But it gave me joy to think about you watching this and your face just slowly turning sour.
Well, now I have to watch it.
But it's basically a rock opera. The whole thing, everything is sung incessantly, like every line is sung. And all the music is by the band Sparks. Also written by Sparks. The whole movie was written by them, which made total sense after watching it.
Sparks is in the same one that the Sparks Brothers, that the documentary is up about that Edgar Wright did. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest we review that. So interesting.
I want to, not until it comes down from $20.
Well,
I've been really wanting to watch it, but it's written by them and it's all the music is by them.
Okay.
And I didn't realize it was written by them until after kind of reading up on, and then it totally clicked into place. Okay. Like the music definitely felt like them, but then just every aspect of it is so much them. But basically, Henry, played by Adam Driver, is a stand-up comedian, kind of in like the just very like in your face. You can't really tell if it's supposed to be funny. It's very performance, like a performance artist kind of experience. It's really interesting. And Marion Cotillard who plays Anne, is a like world famous opera singer.
Okay.
So it's this balance between the two things, and everything. It feels like a rock opera. Like all the music's very operatic, but pop too. So it feels a lot like Sparks music.
Well, now I have to watch it because I got to see if I hate it or if I'm going to surprise you.
There's an element which I'm not going to give away that I know will be nightmare fuel for you.
Okay.
I'm so sure that you're going to be like pulling your hair out like, Clint, why did you make me watch this?
Okay.
I walked away from it like it wasn't sure how I felt about it. And I really want to watch it again. I feel like I've come to the conclusion that I did really enjoy it, and there's a lot in there, and just thinking about it afterwards. But I think the singing, I like musicals, but it's just, it's so like the whole time. And it's like, and they sang live in it. So it wasn't pre-recorded, and it's very part of the performance of the actors. So it's not polished in any way.
Okay.
But it's definitely worth watching, and it's very so like an artistic vision of the Sparks Brothers and Leo Carax. So yeah.
Okay.
What have you been watching about?
I've actually watched quite a few things. It's been one of those weird weeks. I couldn't sleep a lot.
Yeah.
And so I just started watching things. I did trek out to the theater and see Don't Breathe 2.
Oh, okay.
Did you see the original Don't Breathe?
Oh, yeah, I love that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't watch this one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's the same director, right?
No.
Oh, it's not?
He's now producing.
Okay.
The guy who did Crawl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's just producing. This is a different director, different script writer, and it's much more generic. This would have been nothing special when it first came out. My problem, and just looking at reviews in general, everybody's problem with this movie, if you don't mind me doing slight spoilers, although it's pretty obvious from the trailers. In the first movie, you've got blind man that's way more than he appears to be, and then as the movie goes on, you find out just how deeply unsettled and downright evil he is.
Yeah,
based on what he's done. This one, it's 8 years later. He is raising this little girl, and it's the little girl from everything you would think it would be from the first movie, and he's just the hero the whole time.
Oh.
And it's the strangest sequel turn I think I've ever seen, because you go from somebody who just in no way, I get the appeal of an anti-hero.
Yeah.
This is not that, because this guy is not one of those just flawed or slightly criminal characters.
He's really evil.
He's really, really evil, really warped. And for him to suddenly be cast in the role of this protective father, and I got that from the trailers, but I really hope they had something more twisted to kind of play on that. No, they just play him straight hero, straight anti-hero or whatever the whole time. And there are some twists in it, but nothing that justifies the fact that this, essentially this monster is in any way somebody you should be rooting for, other than the fact that he has this 8-year-old that's the product of some pretty awful things he did. So anyway, it was a very strange, I was conscious of it the whole time. And the movie's well made. It's nothing to write home about, but it's well made. But that was so distracting to me. I couldn't get into it.
Well, the first one, it was by the guy who did Evil Dead.
Yeah.
The remake of that.
Not Crawl.
Crawl, yeah.
Okay. I always confuse those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rodo Sayagos. Okay. So I can't pronounce four names.
I really like the Evil Dead remake. I know a lot of people don't.
I enjoyed it too.
I thought it was good. Don't Breathe 2, take it, leave it. I just could not get undistracted while watching it. The other thing I watched, did you watch the Schmigadoon finale?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy?
I did. I kind of wish there was maybe one or two more episodes. More episodes.
Yeah. It was a lot of wrapping things up, to the point that we had gotten so excited, and now we had caught up to where it was airing live. Mm-hmm. I think if we would have just watched all 6 straight through, I would have been fine. But waiting a week for the episode, and like, what are they going to do in the finale? And it was, it wasn't standard fare per se, but it wrapped everything up pretty neatly.
It
was a nice end to the story, but it just felt like it was missing something. But again, if I had watched it all the way through, it would have been fine. I didn't realize
it was the last episode. I wasn't really paying attention to the count of how many there were going to be. So then it got to near the end. I was like, oh, I guess this is the last one for the season. Yeah. But I do think they did a good job. And I think the power of where he sings to her at the end is so good. And like you're saying, I think as a contained thing, the whole thing together, I think that would work really well. Without having to wait.
And I think the biggest thing, it's definitely a message series about, acceptance and things like that. It probably hit that a little too much on the nose in the last episode. Before that, it was there, but it just wasn't. The last episode felt very direct, and here's the message of the series. But not in a bad way. By that point, I loved the characters. And so it was cute. It was sweet. And I enjoyed it.
I did too. I liked it. Yeah.
I don't know, and I'm not sure how they would do a season 2, but I love to dream that it's an anthology series where it's a different couple stumbling into a different musical era world each time called Schmigadoon. But I want to see like the inner city Rent version of Schmigadoon with some completely different couple.
Maybe they get out and fall into another different kind of musical world. They go back. They go back to the city, and it's
And now it's like the 80s musicals.
Mm-hmm.
And then, give me some modern day musicals and then hop back to the 30s and who knows. But it was good. I still highly recommend it. Then I watched a little vampire flick called Blood Red Sky on Netflix. Have you seen anything about that?
It sounds familiar.
It's about this woman who gets on an airplane, an all-night flight with her son. And the plane gets hijacked and she turns out to be a vampire. And things go south and she can't keep control or keep hidden. And then it's basically vampire versus terrorist. But it's much better and smarter than that. It's a good-looking film for about an hour. For about an hour, I was really into this flick. Maybe not even an hour, but it did a lot setting up and just making itself different. After that initial hour, it goes paint by numbers. And it was overlong and it got indulgent and just a little too heavy on a couple of different things. It was, it was still worth watching, but I was a little disappointed in that second half compared to the first half.
Yeah, I watched the trailer for that after you started talking about it. It rang a bell. Yeah.
And then the only other thing I watched was Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard with Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson. And I know you have zero interest in this. I thought, did you see the first one?
No.
Okay. I thought the first one was hilarious. Even though it got bad reviews, my son and I thought it was hilarious. We watched it and just giggled foolishly. This one, I had even smaller expectations for, and we laughed maniacally. Probably laughed more at this one. It's not as good a film as the first one, but laughed much more, even though it's got a lot of problems. But it's Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds. It's Samuel L. Jackson being Samuel L. Jackson. Salma Hayek playing a coked out version of Salma Hayek. And but it's fun. If you like big dumb fun, and if those character actors, tickle your funny bone, then you're gonna love this thing. It's quick. It's paced fast, probably too fast. Any other movie, if it wasn't making me laugh, I would say, oh, the editing is just terrible. It just feels like they cut a half an hour out of this movie. But it's fun. Yeah. I'm not telling you.
No,
I'm telling
I watch
Instagram.
rock operas now.
Yes.
So that's all.
I'm telling Instagram because Instagram will love this thing.
Yeah.
With me.
Those are your people.
I don't think that we should insult the growing base of our listeners. There are some very discerning and savvy folk
I'm sure they are
on the Insta.
Yeah.
The kids call it.
I think I'm just jealous that you're becoming a star on Instagram.
No, it's our picture on there. And I never say me. I say we, Clint.
I don't believe you.
Sometimes I even highlight movies on there that I don't even like. I just know you like them. So I'm like, well, Clint likes these. Let's see what the Insta kids think. And then the only other thing, I didn't watch it, but did you know, have you seen Knight of Cups?
Oh, the Terrence Malick film?
Yeah. How did this Terrence Malick film appear and disappear without me? I've never heard of it.
Oh, really?
I had never seen a trailer for it. This thing just appeared and I was like, oh, what? Is it any good?
I haven't seen it. There's like two in there that I have missed. Like there was, because he just put out a couple right in a row. And I haven't seen that one yet.
It looks very different than his other films.
I think is it based around some musicians and like touring musicians, or is that another one?
No. This one I believe is Hollywood celebrity culture.
Okay, because there's another one where it's like musicians and it's got a bunch of big people in it.
Maybe that's what this one is. I was so like, how does this exist? And I hadn't heard of it. I'm a fan of Terrence Malick. Yeah. I enjoy his films, and this one it's got Christian Bale. It's got a cast. Okay, well, I'm gonna watch it. I was curious if you had seen it.
No, I haven't yet.
Okay.
No.
Side note, just to move us away from Instagram, the reason that I even discovered that this was a thing was because I was doing a series of alternate movie posters for an app, and. And I was doing Terrence Malick's films.
Snapchat?
And what? Terrence Malick films, and this thing popped up, and I'm like, this isn't a Terrence Malick film. Why does this keep popping up in all of these posters and stuff? Sure enough, you learn something every new.
Wow.
Did I just say you learn something every day?
Yes.
You learn something new.
You just said it with such confidence. I thought it was on purpose.
Nope. I'm so tired,
ever new.
I'm so tired. You have no idea. You learn something new every day on Instagram. Hashtag Cinebattle. So today, before we get to our movie reviews,
I feel like I hear the trailer pulling up.
do hear the trailer coming. Let's pay a quick visit to the trailer.
Welcome to the trailer.
What is it? Did you change the curtains in here?
I mean, I had a coupon at Bed Bath & Beyond, so I thought...
Bed Bath & Beyond's still open?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
They got these coupons, man. People eat it up.
All right. I don't know if I would have gone with Paisley, but, sure.
Why?
Hey.
This thing's built in the 70s. We got to, lean into it.
Well, smarter men would turn this into a meth lab, but no, we just come in
here.
We
are not business-oriented.
No, and we just come in here and watch movie trailers.
Yeah.
So...
It seems like a waste.
A little bit. It's a very expensive way to watch free 2-minute previews of films. But this week I was particularly excited. I was told last week that I was a little too excited about Loki. I disagree. I think I was the right level of excited for Loki.
Who told you were your friends?
In the world. IRL.
IRL friends.
But this week I was very excited because out of nowhere, they dropped the second Eternals trailer. And I watched this thing. And before I tell you what I thought, which is, I promise you, super predictable. I would like to hear what you thought of the second Eternals trailer.
Ken.
Yes.
I have zero interest
Are you serious?
In this.
How?
I have no interest.
It's gorgeous. And yes.
It looks like CG, it's so generic.
Oh, Clint.
Ken, I have a hot take on everything forward for Marvel. I think I'm almost done.
What?
I have zero interest in any of the steps they're taking forward.
Clint, what are we going to talk about?
I don't know. I know you're going to force me to watch these films, but right now I'm just I don't care about the Eternals.
What if it was a rock opera?
Maybe.
It's a rock opera.
Is Adam Driver in it?
Yes.
Okay.
With music by Sparks
Brothers?
Aren't you more excited now? All right.
Yes.
So help me understand because I want to understand your world.
Okay. Going into everything else Marvel, I know this seems like some kind of old man like a forum I'm standing on where
reading my mind.
I knew roughly stuff about everything previous.
Okay.
I had I knew Loki, I knew all the characters, Iron Man and everything. So there was an entry point for me.
Okay.
I have no entry point for this. I have and I know that's kind of close-minded to think, but it's just I have been watching these Marvel films for 15 years. What has it been?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I've just
15.
gotten to a point where it's just I don't think I want anymore, and I don't want another thing to learn.
Right, but 4 words here, and I really want to stress these 4 words. Okay, giant stone space gods.
Okay, let me tell you the moment in this where it lost me. The line where they're why didn't you guys help with anything previous?
Right, following orders, and then it cuts to...
Then they had to have the reason.
Right.
It's so they have to put that in the trailer because it it doesn't make any sense.
Then you get this shot of a celestial, big, and it looks awesome. It looks so
I don't
good.
care about that.
What, Clint? This is the weird space stuff that you've been waiting for.
It's a bunch of Supermen, though. It's not science fiction. It's Supermen.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I think it will be a little more, I don't know.
It's the same problem I have with Superman.
Okay.
They're
I'm having a hard
gods.
time defending what I haven't seen yet. I just...
Well, tell me why, because you probably know something about it.
Well, so everything with Marvel, Marvel characters are always the flawed gods. DC has the heroic gods, and Marvel is always the, how do we make these people more and more and more human?
Mm-hmm.
And it's essentially a lot of what I enjoyed in Invincible, the idea that these beings that should be at a higher level and that should not care about us at all because they're so much more advanced and so much more powerful and all these things, come here for one reason and then end up falling in love with what they find here. Mm-hmm. And I find that concept fascinating. And so without the villainy of it, it's just that idea, the same thing that Invincible explores, the idea of, a god coming to the planet and realizing some things. And the Eternals aren't gods. They're just these immortal beings, but it's a lot like Thor.
Yeah.
It's a lot like those characters. But I know it took until Ragnarok before you really had a lot of interest in or enjoyment of those characters.
Yeah, I didn't have any interest until Ragnarok. And that was a director I really enjoy having a take on it.
And they had fun with it.
Yeah.
I can definitely see where Eternals is going to be much more dour and serious.
Yeah.
With just some humor thrown in for some good measure. I'm curious what they do with it. I'm curious how just team of heroes it is. I suspect, based on what I know from the characters and watching the trailer, some of what I hope are hints in there, I think there's going to be a lot more infighting between the Eternals than it probably appears. I think you get that one hero shot and it gives you the vibe from that trailer of, oh, this is just going to be an Avengers-style flick, but with different characters, more, Justice League-powered characters. And I think there's going to be more factioning and disagreement, and probably one of them at least is kind of a hidden villain sort of thing. So I don't know. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, what's the other one coming out soon? The
Shang-Chi?
I have no interest in that either.
Okay.
Yeah. That
one I can understand having less interest in. I don't know that the trailers have really shown anything that suggests a lot of depth.
Yeah.
I'm just going for Marvel, Kung Fu. I have zero connection to any of those characters.
Yeah.
That's one where I don't have an entry point other than that one shot in the trailer of Wong fighting Abomination. I'm like, I know those two characters. Everybody else, aside from the Mandarin, they've mentioned.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm going into that one more with curiosity. But for me, any of these that I don't have an entry point, that's how I was with Guardians. And I went into Guardians not jaded, but there hadn't been enough Marvel movies yet for me to think, okay, they're going to at least make it good. I didn't know what I was going to run into, and I really enjoyed Guardians.
Well, that was the fun thing about Guardians is that, up to that point, there wasn't any big galactic, space, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So that was opening up the world in a whole different way. I feel like, so this isn't doing that for me. Yeah.
This looks like, to me, what Prometheus was trying to accomplish. And I'm hoping it's more successful in what it's trying to do. But I will agree with you, if it's just a generic people with superpowers fighting some creatures and their boss, yes, that will be very boring, very disappointing, and I will be very sad.
I mean, Marvel is relatively successful with every film, so I feel like...
Do you think that they have enough now between series and films that it's going to get to a place that there are always going to be the people that watch everything, but I think they keep it separate enough. Can it just be that, oh, I'm on board for the weird Thor sequels, but I'm just not an Eternals guy? Or almost like comics. When you go into a comic shop, it's not like you buy every book. You get the ones that connect to you. I was an X-Men kid. Other people are, Avengers kids and different things like that. I almost think once there's enough entertainment out there, you have to start picking and choosing.
I feel like with the movies, though, they tie them in together so much more than the comics, because the comics can, like, I mean, I don't read the comics, but I'm assuming there's enough quantity of them that they can go on their own tangents and do their own things. But I feel like the movies, there are a lot of them at this point, but I feel like there aren't enough for them to go out on an adventure on their own. Gotcha. I feel like they have to be tied together.
I think they're going to have to be very careful when they want to reference things. It's easy for Eternals to reference Avengers Endgame because everybody and their brother watched Avengers Endgame. Everybody knows about the Thanos snap. So that's easy to reference as part of that. I think a movie after Eternals, if Eternals doesn't blow up and is super popular, which it probably won't be, it'll be more of a niche film, then they would have to be very careful in other movies referencing the Eternals films, because then you do run into a situation where you can't bank on people knowing what in the world you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, okay. Interesting. I'm very excited.
I knew you were going to be very excited.
I was very excited.
I wish I was excited about it.
Giant stone space gods, the Celestials, man. It's the Marvel creation myth. It's so weird, and it's back in the 70s with 60s and 70s with Jack Kirby. And it's all the stuff they used to that they alluded to and put the design work in for Thor Ragnarok. This is kind of if you imagine that's the Art Deco version of referencing something, this is what it's referencing. So these are the very real kind of creation beings that all of that design work was referencing. So I get that it's not as fun, but it just, I like that there's layers being built into the world.
Yeah. I feel like my attitude could change towards it as it gets closer. But right now, I just feel so kind of worn down, but that like it's this thing that's never going to end. It's just there's going to be constantly for the rest of my life these comic book based movies coming out. And I'd like to see weird rock operas rather than some, like, I don't know. It's
everything you said up to that last sentence makes me so happy. Like the idea that they would just keep making this stuff. That's incredible to me.
Yeah. But it fills up so much space though.
Yes.
Don't you think like there's so many things that you would like to see that
when I go to the grocery store, food fills up a lot of space, but it's good and it keeps me alive.
But imagine that every aisle except for one is cereal.
Again, I think you're talking to the wrong person here because that sounds incredible.
Yeah, but it's not nutritious.
Right. But that sounds incredible. Does the other aisle have milk? Because if so, that's a grocery store I want to be a part of. Okay. I will buy membership to that Costco. Man, cereal market Marvel movies? Give me that desert island. I'm sorry. The trailer, I breathe in the mold and the dust, and it just does something to me. So, all right. Did you see any other trailers, or we just came here so that you could just dampen my dreams? I wanted to come here because I wanted to be excited with you, Clint. I wanted to share something with you. I wanted to share a moment. All right?
Yeah.
And instead, you took my moment, you put it on the ground, and you stepped on it.
I wasn't trying to step on your moment. I was trying to just give you my view on it.
And I appreciate your Instagrammable hot take. Okay? I appreciate it. I'll run with it on Instagram and get us another 1,000 followers.
I'm not saying you're a bad person for being excited about this. I'm just saying I feel worn down by the thought of a whole bunch of new Marvel characters that I have to learn.
Oh, that you have to learn. I'm so sorry. You have to invest some thought and energy into you know what? Let's just, driver, you can take this. Who does drive the trailer?
I don't know. It's a mystery ghost driver.
That's super
weird. It might
weird.
just be brought here by our thoughts and prayers.
All right. Well, today we are reviewing 4 flicks. We have the documentary Val about Val Kilmer. We have, I'm not even entirely sure the title here, G.I. Joe Snake Eyes Origins, G.I. Joe Origins Snake Eyes, Snake Eyes. There's like 80 titles for this film.
When you said Snake Eyes, and I was so in the mindset of what's his name? Nick Cage.
Nick Cage.
I thought you meant that Snake Eyes movie, and I was like, that's very random that Ken wants to watch this. And then I was like, it can't be that. And so, yeah.
G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes. And then speaking of Nicolas Cage, we're going to review Pig. And then we're going to wrap things up with our Cinetron pick, Atlantics, which is on Netflix now.
I was really wishing that movie Lamb had came out so we could do Pig and Lamb.
Oh, that would have been funny.
Yeah.
We should have talked about the trailer to Lamb.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you watched that trailer. Mm-hmm. Did we already talk about that?
In IRL.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
That trailer is one of my favorite trailers ever.
Yeah.
That movie could be trash, and I will still find time to watch that trailer.
Yeah.
If you have not watched the trailer for Lamb, wow.
Yeah.
Go check that out.
The second trailer. The first one's just a little teaser, but the second one really gives you.
Second trailer is just bonkers.
Yeah.
I love it. So let's start with Val. Val is a documentary that Val Kilmer wrote and produced. And it's something that his son narrates from his written narration. Very convincing young Val Kilmer voice.
Yeah.
To the point that when we first saw the trailer for this, we even wondered how in the world he was doing the narration, or did they find a voice actor?
Yeah, I thought it was a voice actor they hired, but
a really nice touch that it's his son. I like that. But it basically is just an overview of Val Kilmer's career and eventually his declining health and kind of where he's at now, and just that kind of twilight celebrity where you're trying to figure out, okay, what does life look like now that I'm not this bankable movie star anymore? And we had tiptoed towards this because it looked pretty heavy, and it looked like it might be a little bit of a tough watch. So Clint, what did you think of Val?
I love this movie. I think, and we're going to do a top documentary thing at the end of this, and I would put this on there.
Really?
I love this documentary. I think it was so well done, and ultimately, like, it was heavy, but I came away more hopeful than, like, I feel like his attitude is so positive, and like he's doing the best with what he's been given, and he's finding new avenues to make art. And that's what I was really hoping from the documentary, that it wasn't just going to be this view into his declining health. Like, it does go into that, and it goes into all his fears and worries and everything that he's feeling, but
in a surprising way, though. It doesn't bring you down.
No, it didn't bring me down. It made me really enjoy him more than I like. It really paints him as this person and this artist that in a way that I never really thought of him as, and more of like this man who really just loves acting and who's devoted his life to it. And in certain ways, his life in acting hasn't gone how he envisioned it from when he was a kid. He had a very different view of it, but like, it's really interesting seeing just how his life unfolds. And man, the cinematography, like just his collection of videotape, like how he's documented his life is so amazing. And I'm just going to keep talking, but I really like this movie. Okay. What did you think?
I enjoyed it as well. I was of two minds with it. The first was I was pretty aware of his reputation and how much he had garnered a reputation for being a difficult person on set and things. I thought this movie, without him sitting around in any way singing his praises, I think it put that in perspective.
Yeah.
I came away from this feeling the sadness of somebody looking back and feeling just woefully misunderstood, as if just people had really missed what he was about and what he was trying to accomplish. And you know, two sides to every story. But again, he doesn't paint himself as just this saint.
No.
He's very open about his flaws and his character flaws and things like that. But that played through the whole movie for me. And that was one reaction to it. And I thought that was really well handled. It was fascinating. And I'm a sucker for movie anecdotes. And so just listening to him kind of reminisce about productions.
Yeah.
And they didn't go with things that I had ever heard before. They didn't go with common stories, and I'm sure he has plenty of those. They went with things that were very personal to him, his life, his experience, what was happening in his career at the time, what he was learning as a person at the time, what he was struggling with. Those are the things that they really bring out. And in that sense, this documentary really had a tighter narrative than I was expecting it to, especially with as much as it bounces between kind of his past life and career and his current health struggles and kind of touring. So that was my first kind of impression of it, and that was really good. Second thing is that it's a very interesting documentary in the way that it's put together. It feels very confident. And it doesn't feel the need to answer every question.
Yeah.
It's very clearly his story, and it's done in a way that it doesn't deviate from his point of view.